Yo, what is good, YouTube? It is your boy James, and I'm coming at y'all with another episode of the Previewing and Predicting series. And today, we're talking about the Memphis Grizzlies. Now, the Memphis Grizzlies just got themselves in a little bit of news that we'll talk about a little later. But before I start talking about the team, I would just like to say again, because last time I talked about it, it worked pretty well. If you guys do enjoy any part of this video, I would really appreciate if you liked the video, just because it helps the channel grow. Some of the videos, for my standards, have done really good numbers. Like the Clippers, Cavs, even though the Cavs video didn't get many likes, and Magic video all did very good for my standards. There's an ad coming, so I should probably switch. But if you guys enjoyed any part of this video, please leave a like. And if anything I said you don't necessarily agree with, leave a comment. You can dislike if you want. I would rather you not. But if that's what you want to do, that's fine, because I like the criticism. But getting into the Grizzlies, I want to talk about their roster first. And the main guy we all need to talk about is Ja Morant. Now, I love Ja Morant's game. I don't want to say I thought the Pelicans should have picked him one, but I did think that there was a reason for him to go one. And at a time where I think some people also had that thought, but I don't think a lot of people, I thought most people said it should be Zion no matter what. And it probably should have been. That's a different discussion on who's better when healthy. But the thing that I love about with Ja, and I made a video on this team a while back, and I talked about how they were ahead of schedule and gave them a lot of praise. So if you're a Grizzlies fan, you can also go watch that one from pre-me, seeing how well you guys did to end the season as well. But I think Ja Morant has built an identity. I think he's built a culture. And I think that is very important. I love culture. I love identity. I think it's how teams who maybe don't have the most talent yet make deep runs. Because you all love each other. You all know your role, which this team, even though they're very young, has all known their role, which is a good thing to see. So props to Ja. This isn't a Zion video, but obviously there's been a lot of turmoil over in New Orleans with Zion, and it looks like they're good now. But it's only been up and up with the Grizzlies, and a lot of that is Ja. Makes his teammates better. Even the whole most improved thing where it showed up at Desmond Bane's house. Like, that's kind of corny to some people, but that is really cool. And I think he is really starting to build something there in Memphis, and he loves the culture. So good on Ja. And then for the rest of the roster, it just fits them all really well. Desmond Bane's upside keeps getting higher each year. He's another player that, like, you just love to play off of Ja. And the thing I'm going to keep talking about that I should talk about now is this team is a defensive menace. I like this team defensively. Desmond Bane, great defender. Dylan Brooks, holy shit, excuse me, obviously had some controversy in that Warriors series. But Dylan Brooks is kind of the same way with Desmond Bane, where I kind of see him as a hot and cold guy offensively, but he's a great defender, pretty solid shooter. Jaren Jackson, I would like to see him be more consistent offensively, because I think he has a very high offensive upside, but the defense has been there. I mean, we were talking about him as maybe a defensive player of the year candidate, and I think there's a good chance that next year he has his injury, but at some point in his career that he can be a defensive player of the year candidate. And I'd like to see it. And then Steven Adams, he's kind of just there. A lot of people really shit on them for that Valanciunas swap, but I think he's a good pick and roll partner with Ja. The spacing obviously isn't the best, but there's good spacing. And defensively, two tall centers, sometimes it works, but it works in this system. Real quick over the bench, Tyus Jones probably the best floor general, one of the best in the league. Definitely the best when it comes to backup point guards. But he knows his job. High assist, low turnover, shoots the ball pretty well, and really does lead a bench unit. John Karchar was a guy that a lot of people, when they traded Grayson Allen, was like, oh, he's just a throw-in. But he played pretty well for them. I don't know a lot about him, but I know he played pretty well. Zaire Williams, kind of a spot 3-and-D type guy. And I think that's good for this defense. Brandon Clark played a lot better last year. I think this is kind of what he is. And then Tillman, I think he's kind of undersized, but shoots the ball pretty well. So I think the bench, although it might not be amazing now, I think it's still a pretty good bench unit. I think it has a lot of upside. I think Clark might be able to get a little better. I think I like Tillman. I know he had a really big shot. When did he hit that big shot? I think it was 2021 against the Warriors in the play-in. Was that it? I'm not sure. I can't remember off the top of my head. But I like Tillman, and I like Zaire Williams, and I don't think Danny Green will ever be back in the mix. But yeah, good bench unit. I think Tyus Jones makes all of them better. So yeah, I like this team, and like I said, I think it's a culture thing. I think it's built really well. So I like what they got going over here in Memphis. Now the thing we all need to talk about now is the Kevin Durant sweepstakes, because the Grizzlies have entered themselves into that sweepstakes. But they did make Desmond Bane and Jaren Jackson untouchable. And when I think of a Kevin Durant trade, I think it, like, people are going to say, whoa, this is too much. But I think when it comes to a Kevin Durant trade, this is probably what you're looking at. I mean, it depends on how desperate you are for Kevin Durant, which I don't think the Grizzlies necessarily are. But, like, let's say you're competing against the Celtics. Like, this is a deal that beats out Jaylen Brown, probably, just because of upside. But talking about it now, because I do have another trade idea that doesn't include any of them, but I don't think is realistic. I like that the Grizzlies are at least entering themselves into the sweepstakes, because it shows that they know they have their franchise player and they're ready. But for me, I just don't really think it's necessary. A lot of teams make the mistake of, first off, being too good when they're young, and then making a move that's kind of desperate because they want to take that next leap. And then some young teams make the mistake of not getting better and holding on to guys. I think of Ben Simmons for Harden that year. I know it didn't really play out in their favor, and it still happened, but they wanted to keep Ben Simmons over Harden just because of the youth and all of that. Even the Heat with Hero, same sort of thing. So you don't want to miss out on championship opportunities because you're holding young guys. But for me, I'm not the biggest KD guy. I think he's a talented player, one of the best of all time. I just don't think he's great for a team's culture. I don't think he's a great locker room guy. I don't think he's a great leader. And I just don't think that he fits well in Memphis. I think they have their identity and their culture, and they should keep rolling with it. Now, this is probably the package they're going to try to send the the Nets, and it looks probably something like this. It's pretty much every young guy you have or talent you have that isn't Ja, Bane, or Jaren. And if you offer this to the Nets, they slam the phone in your face and take it to fuck yourself. So I like the fact that they're getting in on the sweepstakes, but I just don't think it's very necessary, personally. Alright, so I did a section of Would You Rather, and I didn't really like it. But I think other than that, I hit everything in this video that I wanted to talk about. But I did want to give my prediction. And I think they're around 49 and 33, 48, high 40s, low 50s. I do think in the playoffs, I would probably rank them at 4. I don't think they hit the big 3 of the Nuggets, Grizzlies, or Nuggets, Clippers, and Warriors. But I do think they have a chance to beat one of those teams. But I think this is a young team that's going to impress a lot of people, but I just don't think they're there yet, and there's no problem with that. But other than that, if you guys enjoyed, please like, because like I said, the likes did better in the last couple of videos, and the views have been doing pretty good. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed. Subscribe, like, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Other than that, I'll see you all in the next one. I don't know who the next team is. I'll figure it out soon. But other than that, hope you guys enjoyed. Peace.